Hey guys! So, continuing the Venice Film Festival coverage, only from my room back in London. Yep, I'm back, but there's still plenty of Venice Film Festival reviews to come. Today, we're going to kick things off with the fourth film for the Venice Film Festival, which is centered around the subject of hitmen or assassins. From The Good with David Fincher's The Killer, I'll put a link up here if you want to check that out, to The Bad with Harmony Korine's Aggro Drift, to the downright mediocre with Robert Lorenz's In the Land of Saints and Sinners. But yeah, today I get to talk about one of my favorite films from the festival this year, and it was absolutely the surprise hidden gem of the festival. It's Richard Linklater's appropriately titled Hitman. Yes, Hitman. Before we dive right in, I have actually done a written review for this film on Awards Watch. So if you want to read my thoughts on this film, I'll put a link to the Awards Watch review in the video description down below. Oh my god, it is so hot in here. God, I am sweating like a whore in church. Yeah. God, the weather in London right now is like the weather that it was in Venice. God, was not expecting that. It is delightfully ironic that Richard Linklater's Hitman ended up being the surprise film of the Venice Film Festival this year, because like its protagonist, Gary Johnson, a star-cementing term from Glen Powell, by the way, this film looked so unassuming and was hidden in plain sight amongst the festival program. I think the reason that a lot of people weren't taking it all that seriously is because it was actually playing out of competition at the Venice Film Festival, giving us little reason to believe that it's going to be a big contender. But this film was like the cinematic equivalent of a wolf in sheep's clothing, okay? It lures you into thinking it's something safe and familiar, but ends up being something completely unexpected. Based on the somewhat true story of Gary Johnson, played brilliantly by Glen Powell, who also co-wrote the screenplay for this film with Linklater and Skip Hollandsworth, the film starts with an introduction to Gary's somewhat mundane but content day-to-day existence in New Orleans. At first glance, Gary's life looks simple and plain. He's essentially a well-meaning but slightly dorky college professor who teaches philosophy and psychology. He's beige, ordinary, and completely forgettable. He's the type of person you wouldn't look twice at on the street. He drives a Civic, he lives in the suburbs where he tends to his plants and is majorly into birding, but his main passion in life is his interest in human consciousness and behavior, so much so that he even named his cats Id and Ego. And his outlet for this interest is his part-time job as an assistant to the police who try to catch premeditative murderers who are looking for hitmen to do their dirty work. Gary is just the guy in the van who monitors the audio, but when shady cop Jasper, played by Austin Amelio, is suspended minutes before a bust, Gary is then promoted to the new job of contract killer. That's right, he's now their new fake hitman. He's hesitant at first, but Gary soon finds that he has a natural talent for playing a hitman for hire and getting the targets to incriminate themselves by handing over envelopes of cash in exchange for executing their intended victims. And soon afterwards, Gary adopts a variety of hitman guises customized for each potential perp. We're treated to a hilarious lickety-split montage of comical costumes, wigs, and prosthetic makeup. An actor prepares, but a fake assassin prepares harder. Gary's really taking the job quite seriously, and it's both fun and funny to watch him pour so much passion and effort into it. All is going well until Gary crosses paths with an enchanting target called Madison, who's played by Adria Arjona, who is at the end of her rope, trapped in a controlling toxic marriage to her husband Ray, played by Evan Holtzman. Normally, these murderous meetings are sleazy encounters, but his first interaction with Madison plays out more like a meet-cute in a rom-com. She's charmed by Gary's latest character invention, Ron, and he takes pity on her because he's attracted to her. It's a delicate but very sexy scene, which is expertly played out by Powell and Arjona. They have this instantaneous, sizzling chemistry. They are without a doubt one of the hottest on-screen romantic pairings of 2023. The attraction is so strong that Gary maintains his Ron persona and discreetly starts dating Madison, which violates a number of police rules. He plays his hand very close to his chest with both Madison and the police. But as Gary gets in deeper with Madison, his identities and covers become more and more tangled up, and the game he's playing becomes exceptionally complicated as he plays both sides. Richard Linklater has pulled off a masterful genre cocktail of comedy, drama, noir, romance, and thriller. Linklater is known for his versatility, but it takes a filmmaker of incredible skill to balance so much at once. It would have been very easy for this film to topple over into farce, but the tone is pitch perfect. The third act in particular lends itself to the premise of a screwball comedy, and while it flirts with silliness, it never crosses the line into implausibility. Even in the film's most outrageous moments, I never didn't believe what was going on. Hitman might actually end up being Richard Linklater's most accessible and mainstream film that he's made since 2003's School of Rock. But what's really remarkable about this film is that it's more than just a fun caper. It's actually a clever examination of identity. The scenes where Gary is teaching to his students give the viewer a crash course in psychology pertaining to the self, but it's all done with playful irony as metaphor for Gary's predicament outside of the classroom. When Gary steps into the shoes of Ron, he finds a confidence that he didn't know he had. But if the self is just roleplay, then at what point does Ron stop being an illusion, a construction, or an act? That's what makes Glen Powell's performance in this film so delicious. The metamorphosis of watching him go from a well-mannered wallflower to a sexy badass. Ultimately, there is a positive message in this film about how we can seize the identity that we want for ourselves. We just have to be willing to go after it with passion and abandon. What's even more satisfying about Hitman is that this film promises to be the launching pad of its two stars who have always been consistently good in the films that they're in, but never really given the right material to show off their skill sets. Both Powell and Arjona are sublime in this, both together and separately. Glen Powell has been on the rise for a few years now with strong supporting turns in films like Top Gun Maverick and Hidden Figures. He's always had the charisma and devilish good looks of a leading man. He's just never really been given the opportunity to show it. And now he's found the perfect, likable part to showcase his skills and will hopefully catapult him into more substantial leading men roles in the future. It has taken Hollywood far too long to catch on that he is leading man material. His comedic timing and facial gestures in the film's most high-stakes moments is astutely realized. It's a performance where he's constantly putting on a performance for those around him, and many of his gestures seem improvised, but they were probably precisely planned for maximum comedic effect. His elasticity from scene to scene is marvelous. Adria Arjona shows excellent range as a woman desperate for a way out of a horrid marriage. She somehow manages to remain sympathetic and likable, even though the first scene that we're introduced to her, she's talking about wanting to kill her spouse. She's even cracking appallingly lovable cat puns in her first interaction with Ron, which leaves both him and the audience smitten with her. I'm so glad that Adria Arjona got a role like this, because even though she's not like been living under a rock, like she has been in some pretty big things like Morbius and Six Underground, but those type of films haven't really done anything to help her career. This role though, like the versatility on display from her is fantastic. A lot of you guys have been asking me on Twitter, is Hitman gonna be an Oscars movie? And I'm gonna say this, when I left the cinema, Hitman didn't immediately strike me as an Oscars movie because it's a fun, light-hearted film about a hitman who's leading a double life, okay? It's not a very serious topic, okay? It's just a film that's good fun and very well made, very entertaining, okay? Normally the Academy like to go for films that have a little bit more seriousness to them, but it's not like they never nominate funny comedic films for Best Picture, okay? They just usually nominate films that have either substance, like Lady Bird or Everything Everywhere All at Once, or films that are a bit more on the satirical side, like Don't Look Up. But yeah, Hitman is a breezy film, and it's not really saying anything all that serious. Also, this film currently doesn't have the backing of a big distributor behind it, which kind of implies that it may struggle to find the resources to fund a successful Oscar campaign for it. But let's see how it plays over the festival circuit, because if it gets enough of a rapturous response from TIFF and the London Film Festival, then maybe they're gonna realize, okay, we've got something special here, let's put some money behind it so it's got an Oscars campaign. I think this film would be worthy of nominations for Best Actor for Glen Powell. This is a career solidifying performance from him. Adria Arjona as well. I don't know if she would go lead actress or supporting. She'd probably have a better chance in supporting. I think she'd be worthy as well. The screenplay is razor sharp and it's balancing so many different genres. I think it'd be worthy of a screenplay nom, and I also think it'd be worthy of a Best Picture nom. Currently, I don't think it's gonna get any of those nominations, but let's wait and see. Let's see how it unfolds over the festival circuit. And yes, I will absolutely be mentioning and championing Hitman in my Oscar prediction videos that are coming up. Come on, Academy, I am counting on you. All right then, let's ask those 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? Hell yes, I can't wait to watch this over again. Definitely gonna be a film that's gonna be added to the wall as well. Loved it. Question 2, do I recommend this for you guys? This is such an easy film for me to recommend to everyone because honestly, I don't know who wouldn't enjoy watching a film like this because it's not really offensive or too graphic or sexual. It's just a really well-written, funny, well-performed movie that's so crowd-pleasing. Like, this was probably the biggest crowd pleaser of the Venice Film Festival. And yeah, I encourage all of you, go watch it in a cinema with others, okay? This is a very special movie. If you like screwball comedy films like Some Like It Hot, She's Funny That Way, Irrational Man, or even the TV series Only Murders in the Building, then yeah, you're probably gonna love this film. Go see it with your mates. Take someone out for a date and watch this movie. Take your parents even. Yeah, there's no one I don't think would get a crack out of this film. And third question, what score do I give it out of 10? Tightly written, finely tuned tonally, and paced with a spring in its step. Hitman is not only the surprise hidden gem of the 2023 Venice Film Festival, it is one of the best movies of 2023 overall. So it gives me great pleasure to say that Hitman is an absolute 10 out of 10, and I would go as far as saying it is a film that everyone should watch at least once before they die. It is just marvelous, this movie. Please go watch it, guys. You're not gonna regret it. But as always, guys, it's just one bloke's opinion. I wanna hear from you. Are you excited for Hitman? Are you gonna go see it? If you have, what did you think of it? How many Oscar nominations do you think it might get? Whatever you have to say, let your voice be heard in that comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, help me out with the little thumbs up button. It's great for the algorithm. If you want more movie, TV, and Oscars related content, don't forget to click subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hearfield, and I'll see you next time.